Okay, we have resolved slides. I hope we have is working on we all have folks in mutual. Hope we have so technical difficulties. Hopefully we will have all the technical difficulties ironed out next week. So thanks everyone for their patience. So coming up next, we are going to have two of our projects. This is my favorite part of the week. We are going to have two of our projects come up and talk about their projects. And we're going to start off with watermelon.info. Nancy, come on. Or maybe comment in the chat so I can spot you and see where to where your username is. Oh, Steph is speaking for Massey. Okay, well that explains it. So Steph, let's bring you on up. There we go.
Hello, thank you. Sorry for the confusion there. Massey actually has to work at her job, which is shocking. So I'm chatting for her today. Hey everybody, I'm Steph. I'm one of the co-founders of watermelon.info. And just I can see the slides, but yeah, just to tell you a little bit more about our project. We've been around since November of last year. Our mission's to amplify the already existing success of Palestinian businesses by creating a centralized platform that connecting worldwide shoppers to businesses that are actually in Palestine. Like, so we've got a ton of businesses in the West Bank, Jerusalem, but also diaspora businesses. And so you'll also find brands donating to Palestine on the site, but we are prioritizing Palestinian-owned brands. We are very open to feedback. We have the site live in its first iteration. We're looking to do its second iteration on March 30th. We're super open to feedback, so pop in the chat if you do have any. And then we are also looking for beta testers, basically just beta shoppers that can go on the site, walk through the UX and experience it and then give us some feedback. So if you were interested in a volunteer opportunity where you are basically volunteering to pretend to shop or to actually shop on the site, please reach out to me or just pop it in the watermelon.info chat. Oh, thank you for displaying that. Yeah, that's what the site looks like right now. It's a little bit of a glorified list at this moment, but that's kind of where we're at. Happy to take any questions, but I don't want to take too much time from anybody.
No. We are here to listen to what you're building. So you talked about the first version, talked about the second version. Tell us about that migration or that transition.
Yeah, sure thing. So right now, like I mentioned, kind of a glorified list. We have this beautiful interface that my co-founder Massey designed. But some of the feedback that we've gotten is the site doesn't have search functionality. So when you're what we've learned from people using the site is when you go to an e-commerce site, you kind of type in, oh, what do I want? I want a keffiyeh. That isn't possible just yet on the site, although we do have them sorted by home, accessory, and other like broad category labels. So in the next, basically in the next iteration of the site, we're hoping to have a search function, and that'll be really, we'll put it on par with other e-commerce sites. And generally the goal here is we're targeting, yes, people who, people who support Palestine, people who want to buy Arab cultural goods, but really we're targeting the people who don't know how to support Palestine, don't know how to get started. And that's why we're really open to feedback on how we can optimize our SEO to make sure that we are reaching those people. So we want to index for the keywords like buy keffiyeh from Palestine, because there's so many, TikTok keffiyehs that are basically like made in China. And so we really want to support Palestinian entrepreneurs. So that's why we're, oh, and I see some stuff in the chat about people being happy to beta test. So thank you so much. Yeah, feel free to drop your info in the chat here. That's where we're kind of at right now.
Okay, so we got a couple of questions from people in the info. What are the payment options available currently? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so currently we are not accepting payment on the site, and we actually don't plan to accept payment on the site within the next 2 iterations because there's a lot of tax implications for accepting payment, although we do know that it would be a really big sell if we could. Right now we're directing people on the site to click out to existing businesses basically. So that's kind of how it's been working so far. We do have a competitor site that I'll actually share and I don't want to say competitor, I should say that in a different way, but a very similar site that doesn't necessarily focus just on Palestinian businesses, but Arab businesses in general. And they are supporting payment on the site. So we're open to, understanding if that's a deal breaker for people. We really want it to be a discovery platform first and foremost, and then we'd really like to accept payment, down the line.
Lovely. And then the other question that we had is, how is this different from Build Palestine?
Build Palestine?
Mm-hmm.
Let me check that out right now because I should know that.
That's for my knowledge. I mean, this is a site which is, you can actually browse the sort of consumer goods that are being sold from Palestinian businesses, right?
Exactly. So I'm on the Build Palestine site right now. I think this is a more broad initiative, and specifically for the watermelon, it's really a clothing and shopping focused site. So it's really about physical products and buying and supporting physical products from Palestine.
Well, I think one thing I really like about this is there's a lot of boycotting, and obviously that's a wonderful thing to exist, but it's the a lot of telling you what not to buy, and I think what's really great about this is it's telling you what to buy, how you can directly support Palestinian businesses. So what percentage of the people of the businesses you have on the site, like how many of them are diaspora versus in Palestine?
So I would say we're about 60-40 right now. We started out and we're deciding actually on how we're going to strategize that. But yeah, I'd say 60-40 with the majority of the businesses that we have on the site actually based in Palestine. The one challenge there is, shipping. We do want to, we want people to buy from them, but we also want to flag that, shipping, obviously you can expect a little bit of delays potentially. There's a lot of times when Israel will just, block packages from leaving. So, and then the 40% are diaspora brands, which there's a ton of really awesome ones that we're adding every day. And we're also flagging for each diaspora brand what kinds of charity work they do. So, for example, like there's a brand called West Bank Hoodie, which I think is one of the best brands with great SEO when you search buy Palestinian clothes. So that is one example of a kind of brand you can support there.
And then a question we had here is, how are you marketing or advertising the site both inside Palestine and outside Palestine?
It's a really good question, and one that we're really open to feedback on. We've taken the approach of a slow build up for marketing, since we don't want to overpromise on the site. We have a really big idea for the site. I wouldn't say that we're necessarily marketing it inside of Palestine, to the extent we've been having direct conversations. We have about 45 businesses on the site, and we've been making it a priority to speak directly with the owners of each of those businesses to understand, how they want to be profiled on the site. So I would say inside of Palestine, the extent of that is understanding how we can help them and understanding how we can help them with their marketing and connect them to people that can help them promote their brand. Outside of Palestine, it's been Instagram presence. It's been basically social media. We have all connected us to the potential for some online advertising. but we're really open to different ideas. I just saw somebody talking about contacting organizations and independent news. I think that's an amazing idea. We've been in touch with Rahma Zain, I think is their last name, and she's obviously a prolific journalist who's an amazing contact. So that kind of is underway, but we're really open. And I think you're right that journalism is a really great way to get that going.
Yeah, we can help get you connected to some things there when you launch. So when are you planning to launch? When should people look out for this?
So the site is live right now. You can go to it at watermelon.info. This second iteration, we're aiming for Eid. So I think it's March 30th, and I will post about that, but that is our aim for our next development. And that's where we are trying to bring in, because I think one weakness of our site right now is that it's very business focused. It's very like, here are the businesses we have, rather than here are the products that we have, and then support these businesses that have these products, which, it's kind of counterintuitive, but that actually is how you shop. You click a product. You don't necessarily click on a business first. Depending, of course, when you want to support these businesses, it makes sense, but you kind of want to know what they have. So you can expect the launch to be on the 30th of this month. And I'm seeing some businesses in the chat, people are sharing. Feel free to continue to share those in the chat or in the watermelon.info chat. We want to hear from you guys, like what are your favorites and who do you think really deserves to be featured? Because we want to get every single diaspora business on there.
Lovely. And I'm gonna, final question before you go. What are the do you have volunteer needs? What do you need from the community? How can the community help?
Yep. So I would say in terms of volunteer needs, so those beta testers would be super helpful. I've seen a couple of people come forward. Very low commitment. It'll be about 4 hours at the end of April or end of March, beginning of April. And then in terms of other volunteer needs, it's really about, one, spreading the word. So letting people know about the site is really helpful. But the other thing is just knowing what sites we should feature in general. Samira just posted the Discord channel, so adding the sites would be really helpful. We're also we've got some developers going, but we are looking for people who are comfortable with back-end developing to help us. And then honestly, the other thing we need, sorry, I'm listing a lot, but the other thing we need is just admin work, basically people who are willing to help us input these sites in the way that, we have to upload them to our database somehow. We have to connect them in a way. So if you're looking to just, do a couple hours a week of work for a company that's doing good work to support Palestinian-owned businesses, feel free to reach out and I can get you set up with just a really easy process to update the businesses into our platform. So you'll just be in charge of learning more about the business, putting their bio and information in there, and then you're good to go. You move on to the next one.
And I see a couple of people have volunteered to do that admin work and even some back-end stuff. Someone asked which language and technologies.
So I was just thinking the same. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I believe if this is a language element, is that might not be a language. I'm a marketer, so I need to double check with my with the back end team. We'll get back to you guys on that. Sorry, I didn't have more information.
Yeah, I feel I should have known the answer to that because I talked to Matthew about this recently. But I'm sorry, it slipped my mind. Okay.
No worries.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Steph, for being here, for showing us what you're working on, and for the work that you do for Palestine. And thank you everyone from the audience who's volunteering to help. This is fantastic. You can get connected to Steph in the watermelon.info channel, which has a watermelon in it. Well, so do all of our channels. And you can keep the conversation going there and get connected. All right, and
thanks,
then
Paul. One more thing, I have the answer. It's Svelte Kit and Elixir.
There we go. There we go.
Thank you.
I remember now because I told Massey you should not be using Elixir for this. This is inappropriate, but to each their own.
LOL. Okay.
Okay. So next up, we're going to have Ari come up from Jaywalk. So let's see, where is Ari? If you can put your hand up, that would make it easier because I'm just going through. There we go.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hello, how are you? Yes, we can.
Cool. Hi, everyone. Ramadan Mubarak for everyone observing, and super cool to follow watermelon.info. That was such a cool project. And okay, I'm Ari. I'm here to talk to you about Jaywalk today. In case you haven't heard about Jaywalk, we were creating a kind of app that helps connect allies to organizers and movements and just give us a censorship-free place to organize and mobilize and also just keep each other safe. I'm sure in the last year and a half, especially, or sometime in life, you felt this feeling where you're just like watching injustice happen and you feel like there's nothing you can do about it, and you feel hopeless. You don't know where to start. You don't know what to do. And this is kind of a feeling that oppressive systems are made by design. And we're kind of hoping that this platform will help break through that hopelessness paralysis and just lower the barrier to act, whether it's through protesting, fundraising, webinars, workshops, just any way to resist. You know, they're doing like book bans now. They're banning protests a lot of places. So we hope that this isn't going to stop us from continuing to protest, but just giving us a way to mobilize. So yeah, I'll tell you where we are now in the project. I hope that made sense. So we are, is there just one slide?
No, I've like 3 more.
Okay, can you put it on maybe the next one? Yeah,
There we
here. Okay, so right now we have a lot of features coming for you guys to hopefully help give you a little toolkit to acting. Right now we are collaborating with Find a Protest. If you don't know Find a Protest project, you probably have heard of them. They're doing amazing work, scouring protests and mobilizations from all over the world, and they're posting it onto their website to make it easier for us to find these protests. And right now we're collaborating with them, and they've been so generous to share their work with us so that we can amplify it further and give you a kind of application version of it where you can find mobilizations in your area. You can get notifications or filter by what type of things you're interested in. If you want to start small and just start educating yourself with this film screening, you can do something like that. And then once you're ready, maybe you can join protests. So we have all sorts of movements and assemblies that you'll be able to go through. And then not only are we going to be able to find protests easier, but you will also be able to soon join them through a map. And these are for live walking protests. Right now, it's getting quite dangerous, especially in a lot of places where, especially we're seeing in the US now, they're banning protesting and they're arresting students and expelling people, and it's getting madness. And we want to try to make this map so we can continue to protest, but keep each other safe. So if there are arrests or brutality going on during these protests, we want to try to keep it a safe, peaceful space of community like protests were meant to be. And this map kind of helps us let each other know about any type of danger or any type of resources. If you're injured, maybe somebody can come help if they're a medic. if you're being arrested, you can come kind of have backup if there's counter protesters. If you just need some water, if there's tear gas or rubber bullets going on, we can kind of help alert each other. We were calling it kind of like a Waze for protest, but we're not going to use that anymore because Waze are Zionists. So support us instead, I hope. And yeah, we're working on this feature as we speak. We know there's like a lot of security concerns, so we're doing our best so we can make something that's helpful. And right now, our next steps are we are looking for organizers. I know a lot of organizers are being shadow banned right now, and we want to amplify your movements. So if you would like to help and join us, please contact us and we can amplify your movements. You can post them directly through Find a Protest, which will also show up on our app. And eventually when we have that map feature, you can also help lead protests and lead a safer initiative. And for allies, please just follow us to keep us posted when we're going to be available for download. Hopefully within like today or tomorrow. We're in the state of just refreshing the page to see when we've been accepted to be public. So please stay tuned. And also we're looking for people to help Find a Protest expand the database and get more assemblies onto our map, so more international organizers, or also if you just want to help us look through the internet and find protests to add, that would be super helpful. Okay, that's all. Thank you. Oh,
So
the video,
I have,
yay.
yeah, you gave some videos. So this is, tell us what this is.
Okay, so right now on the left screen, you're seeing kind of just like a sample example of maybe how the map feature could work, the safety map feature. And on the right, you're seeing the Find a Protest collaboration feature where you can find assemblies in your area. So that's what you're seeing right now.
Lovely. Okay, so we got a couple of questions from the audience, and the one of the questions is this mainly for the US or is the app only for America?
The app is international, and we're currently working to form a international kind of sorry, I'm losing the word. A board of organizers. So we have organizers from different parts of the world helping to make this more useful in their area, because we know different laws and different things are needed. So yes, it will be international, short answer.
Cool. And you mentioned there were security concerns. So what are you doing to handle those and to assuage everyone's concerns?
So the current version of the app for download, there's no type of login. We're not collecting any information at all. We don't even look at your location. You just do those through filters. So there's nothing we can track, or you can't be tracked that you're looking for these protests or anything right now. And for the upcoming feature for the Waze, we are working right now with cybersecurity specialists to kind of see what the best way this is going to be. We have a lot of different things we're looking at through like verification systems and codes or access codes. And we're not going to release anything until it's completely safe and we know it can't be used for tracking our users or putting anyone in danger, if that makes sense.
Nice. And I would also add that Tech for Palestine is not in the business of letting unsafe stuff go out either. So we will also be working to make sure that happens. Okay, so question I have for you is, and I know the answer to this, so it's for the audience. But how did you actually come up with this sort of idea for ways for protests?
So I first came up with this officially in 2020 when the Black Lives Matter protests were going on, and I was living in Washington, D.C., and we were just seeing all of this commotion and riots and how the whole movement was coming together to mobilize and just helping each other. There were so many rubber bulletsing and tear gassing and all this going on, and just the roots being broken up. And I was having flashbacks. I was in Egypt during the Tahrir Square Arab Springs Revolution in 2011 too, and it was the same kind of situation. And I was thinking, sometimes you think something ends, so it's not going to be useful for a long time. But I ended up developing it during my master's program in peace education, and I built this as a peace building for nonviolent resistance innovation tool and developed the concept further. And then, unfortunately, 2023 happened, and the use for this kind of came up again. And Tech for Palestine, I was brought to their attention, and they were brought to my attention, and now here we are.
Lovely. And the other question that we had here was, is there a danger of this being abused by agent provocateur or counter protesters?
Yes, of course, there's always going to be a chance of trolls trying to come on, and we're working on ways that we can use verification systems again and just bring the community together to counter these trolls. There's always going to be this type of reality of trolls and good things being used for bad reasons, but we can't let that stop us from trying, and we're going to keep trying to find ways to beat them. We can't let them fear us into a corner.
And so what do you need from the Tech for Palestine community?
Well, I did mention if there was anybody who wanted to, if anyone's an organizer in the community or can connect us or can just help us at assemblies and support the project. And if you want to give us any feedback, or if you've had any type of experience at a protest or trying to find one or join one, we would welcome any type of more perspectives that can help us fill in any gaps we're missing in our features and just help lower the barrier for everyone to act and feel safe doing it.
And you said you mentioned a couple of times find a protest. I guess there's a partnership there.
So we're going to be collaborating with Find a Protest. We're going to just give this a test run for now, but I think it's going to be a strong one. They are, again, doing this amazing work. Their volunteer team looks all over the internet and finds protests, and they post them where you can search by your location and find things in your area. You can even get email notifications if something's coming up in your area. So right now they are lending us this information that they collect, and we're displaying it on our map feature, which is the one you're going to be able to download hopefully in the next 24 hours. And it just gives you a kind of app experience of it. We also link you to Find a Protest to help add assemblies. So, we are all just volunteer based. So we can really use the community's help. Also, if you see things that we're missing, we have an add assembly button on our app that will lead you to Find a Protest, where you can please help continue the work. And you might have seen on the demo that there were some gaps in the parts of the map, and we could really, really use help filling that out.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for coming up and telling us about it. And looking forward to using the app when it releases any day now, and to see the next generation as well.
Thank you.
So next up, we will have Aza is going to come and tell us about the volunteer stuff.
Thank you, Paul. Let me turn my camera on really quickly. Hello, everybody. And Eid Mubarak to all of those celebrating. I wanted to quickly go over a couple of volunteer positions that we want to highlight. You've heard about a couple more from Steph and Ari. In addition to that, we are looking for an experienced front-end engineer for the Palchet team. They're looking for someone to help put in site, web UI, and application functionality. We're estimating about 10 hours a week initially for the first 3 or 4 weeks or so, and then we expect that to taper down to about 5 hours a week. We're also looking, the T4P team is growing, and we're looking for community management and moderators. If you're passionate about creating a safe space and friendly spaces in the digital world, and you have a knack for Discord, then we'd love to chat with you. That's about 5 hours a week minimum is what we're asking there. And you can be a part of this thriving community and keeping it safe. We talked about the launch of E4P Entrepreneurs for Palestine. That team is looking for some support as well. As we continue to grow, we're looking for a community manager focused on Europe and the MENA region, someone to help with onboarding, additional entrepreneurs. And they're also looking for an experienced lead gen business development person to continue to go after and recruit additional members to the community. That's about 10 hours a week if you're interested. And the last one I'll call out are researchers and writers, needed urgently always to continue to help document and raise awareness about the Palestinian cause and what's really happening, and as a way to counter all the propaganda that exists out there on platforms like Quora, Reddit. So this is the Quora dedication team. If this is something you're interested in, especially if you have experience and can translate French or Hebrew, that's a real bonus, but we're looking for writers and researchers in general. If you have at least 5 hours a week and this is something you're interested in doing, we'd love to chat with you. We have many other roles. We won't have time to go through them all, but please check out the T4P volunteering site, or the T4P website on the volunteering page, for a list of all of our roles, including the ones I just talked about here, and some more information on some of the skill requirements for those roles as well. The one thing I'd say too, as you were thinking about volunteering, I see lots of, there's lots of people that have great intent. The really important thing here, especially as we have projects that need someone for a period of time, is just make sure that you have the time and you can consistently and reliably dedicate the time to do this. That's probably one of the most important requirements here. It could be disruptive if we have volunteers that have the best intentions, they start and then they disappear after a short period of time. So I ask that, while we need volunteers, please really ask yourself, do you have the time to commit, and can you really set aside whatever it is, an hour a day, an hour every other day, whatever it is you're committing to, can you really set aside that time and make it happen and help come through for these projects in areas that they're really counting on our volunteers to support. We'll put the link to the volunteering needs page in the chat. And then lastly, we just want to call out some volunteers that have been doing amazing work. We have a big volunteering community. All of our projects rely on volunteers. The T4P team relies on volunteers. We're all volunteers here. And there's, if you think about it, these folks are dedicating their time while they're juggling personal lives, jobs, kids, families, all kinds of stuff. And so we are so appreciative of all of our volunteers. But I'd like to call out a couple of success stories from our project teams and recognize a few people. So first, from the News Corp team, we'd love to recognize Nee. Her work on News Corp app has really been revolutionary. She's helped build the foundation of a really well-working app that shows users hidden agendas and the latest news. And she's rapidly working on optimizing it for us as well. She's Her recent work has significantly helped speed up the app, and she just remains selfless and dedicated to this cause. So thank you, from NEMA, the News Corps team, and all of T4P for all of your hard work. The Find a Protest team, they'd like to call out Dimitri. Demi has added the most data to the Find a Protest team of all of our volunteers. So she's completed the most lists. She works well on her own, but she's also always willing to jump in and support others when they're away or they need help. And she's been at it since last year. This year, she hasn't missed a beat. She always brings such a positive attitude, great feedback to the team that's really helped improve what they're doing. She truly, deeply cares about the project and the success of the project and her teammates. And the Find a Protest team feels very lucky to have her, and we're lucky to have her as part of the T4P community. So thank you, Dimitri. And also from the Find a Protest team, we'd like to call out Nino. So Nino has been a solid contributor and volunteer for the Find a Protest team. They show up in many ways. They're on the data team, they're testing new features, they're suggesting ideas, and throughout it all, they're spreading positive vibes. I'd like to also call out that Nino also volunteers in other capacities for T4P as well. So Find a Protest isn't even their only role. So things aren't always smooth or perfect, but yet Nino is always a real light shining through and brightening many people's days. And so from all of us, from the Find a Protest team, from the T4P team, thank you so much, Nino. With that, I will pass it back to you, Paul.
Lovely, thank you, Azza. So you can join and volunteer by checking out the form on the website, and that's one of the biggest ways of getting involved in Tech for Palestine is joining one of the projects. But as I said, only if you have the time. A lot of us have dealt with the issues of volunteers whose eyes are bigger than their stomach. So very much appreciate all those who show up and who have the time. So I believe that we are at the end of our scheduled work. The couple of places to follow us on Blue Sky, on Mastodon, on LinkedIn. Very important to help us get our projects out there. We very often use these channels to promote their needs for volunteers, their launches. Sometimes we'll even just throw out asking for users on some of these channels, and that is something that we very much welcome your help with. This is us on the other channels on X, on YouTube, on GitHub, and on Instagram. And then the Get Involved page is of course where you sign up as a volunteer, and that one is a really important one. So appreciate you all joining there. So before we call it a day, we're going to go through and we're going to catch any questions that we missed along the way. So please, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we will try to get them answered before we go. So one that I saw from Sam is their fundraising goal at this stage. Our goal for this year is to raise 2 million. So 1 million for the what we're calling the seed fund for early stage projects, and that's mostly for our projects, but also helping some other early stage stuff, and 1 million for what we're calling the growth fund, which is helping folks within the community who are doing, organizations within the community who've been here a while, who are doing amazing work and who need support. Lovely. So comment from Sarah here. I've had problems uploading the incubator application form. Is there an alternate way to get this information to you? That isn't the only time I've heard that. I think it is worth checking. We will take a look and make sure that the application form works. But you can also reach the project team by emailing projects@techforpalestine.org. As a reasonable fallback, you can email paul@techforpalestine.org, which will get to me. I try to read. I'm often behind on my email, but I will often get it to the right place. Okay. So what is the process for starting, suggesting, or incubating new projects? So to start a new project or to join the incubator for a new project, all you need to do is fill in the application form. The application form is on the website, on the incubator page. In fact, we have that linked up quite a lot of pages on the website. Have a look around, can't miss it. It's a relatively straightforward form. You should be able to complete it in 30, 60 minutes, where we ask you to tell us about the project, tell us about yourself. And then the process after that is we'll review it. We'll do a 30-minute interview of the projects that we like. And sometimes we'll ask you for a little more information. We'll come back, maybe do another interview for projects that weren't quite there. But often the 30-minute interview is enough to get you over the line and to get people in. You'll see there's an offer from Mahanad there. He's on the incubator team. Mahanad has sometimes helped projects with their applications to help get it into the right shape. If you apply and it's sort of close, it's not going to be a no, we'll never talk to you again. Often it'll be here's some fixes to make and come back to us. So please feel free to apply. One thing that we don't do is take suggested projects and sort of start them ourselves. We do have a page of suggested projects, and we do sometimes put if you suggest us a project, we might add it to the page of sort of ideas to start. But we're not sort of a place where ideas sort of go, we'll do your idea for you. It's very much, we will help you get your idea done. And we will work with you with coaching and mentoring and connections to volunteering and marketing and all the other things that we do here to help projects. There's a question, how are funds being raised? Is crypto in the equation? Crypto is not currently in the equation. I think the tool that we use doesn't support crypto. However, we support quite a lot of other ways. We just added Apple Pay. I believe we're adding some of the other things, but for the most part, credit card is the way to do it. If you need something else, please feel free to email us donations@Tech4Palestine. Although that is also just go straight to my inbox. So feel free to also paul@Tech4Palestine or ask us. We have a contact the management channel in the Discord, so you can always ask us there as well if you're having any problems getting to anyone at T4P for incubator things, for donation things, for really anything else. You can reach us there, and we'll get back to you relatively quickly. Okay, how is Entrepreneurs for Palestine connected to Tech for Palestine? So this is an interesting one, because Entrepreneurs for Palestine joined as a regular project. And as we were working together, we realized that the goals of Entrepreneurs for Palestine and what it was doing really matched a lot of the ideas that we had been doing in the background of working with entrepreneurs, stuff that we wanted to do more in the future. So we sort of merged or acquired or something like that, Entrepreneurs for Palestine. So that's now an official part of Tech for Palestine. Eva, who runs Entrepreneurs for Palestine, is part of the management team here. The community team, Sadia and Mar, help out with the E4P webinars. And we have a very tight relationship of connecting entrepreneurs around and sort of having the same sort of goals. So it's increasingly a key part of Tech for Palestine, is kind of a core part of what we are. Okay, going back through some other questions. I know that there are some here. I see Palestine skating game commenting a lot. That's a cool thing if y'all haven't seen it. What do we use to make the presentations? That's Canva. Okay. I seem to recall something at the start, so I'm just going back. Oh, there was one question. Where are these websites and applications hosted? I think that was specifically for watermelon.info, but are you using public cloud providers like AWS, GCP, et cetera, who have heavily supported the IDF? The unfortunate answer to that is we actually are sometimes. I don't know if watermelon.info is, but we certainly have an AWS account that we're using for some things. The challenge of all these evil companies is that they are sort of everywhere, and it's a little systemic, and we try to avoid them wherever we can, but it's not always possible. However, most of our stuff is on Cloudflare, and our new stuff we're putting on 1984.hosting, which is not Amazon, and we very much prefer when we don't use Amazon. Also, don't forget, Microsoft is just as evil. Okay, so where can we find these projects? The projects, so the ones that Samira was talking about, you can find them in the Discord. All of the projects in the Discord start with a watermelon. There's an area in the Discord called supported projects, and all of the projects are there. They're also on the website, although, as someone else pointed out, our website is slow to update relative to the Discord, but we are changing that. We are actually tying the website to our application tool, so that we will the website will be automatically updated. Okay, and the last thing I'll say is, I don't see any other questions. Last thing I'll say is thank you so much for tolerating our audio visual challenges that we were having so far this week, and we will hopefully have them fixed for the next time. Other than that, thanks everyone for coming, and free Palestine.